I really need to start working on a proper introduction, but I'm not really sure how to script that yet. In any case, today I thought it would be nice to actually look at some of the books that we've been doing. I am also cutting it a little bit short because I have a podcast in about half an hour. Today we got a letter from Toma. It is his birthday. I'm not gonna read it yet because we haven't technically met him. I'm gonna read like a bunch of the birthday letters just together. This is much faster than yesterday when I literally had to run around finding carrots because I didn't have enough to give to Lieben. I did get another viewpoint, so let's take a look at that first. The Land of Clear Springs, Springvale. A peaceful and idyllic suburban town. It has a long history of hunting, of sweet spring water, and of passing down the legend of a beneficent spirit dwelling within the waters. Let's take a look at Heart's Desire today, because I actually have two volumes. Volume 1, Moonlight. Legend tells of a corner of the city that has been forgotten by the wind. To reach that place, one must stand before the fountain and close their eyes, then wait for 35 heartbeats, then walk 7 circles clockwise around the fountain, followed by 7 further circles anti-clockwise. On opening one's eyes, one will find they have arrived at a little shop. I don't want to try that. Interesting. Excuse me, is anyone there? Vega asked timidly as she stepped through the door. As the door closed behind her, the bell that hung from it rang out, its crisp and clear sound filling the room and cutting through the dimly lit drudgery. The dull glow of twilight seeped gently through the frosted glass of the display case windows. Stacks of curious objects filled every part of the room. Vega made her way through the store cautiously for fear of stepping on something and breaking it. There was no answer. Somehow this this reminds me of Love and Deep Space. Whatever that secret library domain of Zane's is. Vega now began to examine the objects around her more closely. An obscure mechanical component, an ornate ancient lyre, a broken ceramic tile engraved with incomprehensible markings, a pair of old manacles, dented and scratched from years of use, a forgotten crown that once belonged to an aristocrat. At some point, as she was inspecting these objects of no apparent utility, the shopkeeper appeared beside her. The shopkeeper's eyes were like those of a fox, with long, slender pupils at their center. That fang once belonged to a wolf king. Aside from the gods, it is probably the only thing left that remembers that land the way it used to be, every inch of it covered in ice and snow. She spoke softly. Welcome to the store. Do you see anything that takes your fancy? Do you have anything here that can help someone to forget? Why, certainly. Vega clutched her chest as she pursued the question further. To forget anything? Even someone very important? The fox-eyed shopkeeper's expression turned stern, and she nodded as she continued. I know that the one you wish to forget is a young man with limpid eyes as clear as moonlight. He disappeared a long time ago and left a deep hole in your heart. Nothing else can fill that hole. All other blessings, no matter how joyful they may be, feel elusive and out of your reach, just like the moonlight before your eyes. Vega was stunned into silence. All she could do was nod along. The fox-eyed shopkeeper smiled and, seemingly out of nowhere, presented a bottle of wine. This wine will help you forget your pain. Long ago, in the age when the icy winds blew, our forebears brewed this wine in secret, deep within the frozen earth, to give them the strength to keep surviving. The method they used to brew this kind of wine was forgotten when the people's fate took a turn for the better, and their lives became more joyful. She tilted the wine bottle back and forth. There's not much left, and since it seems you have an affinity with this store, this one is for free. Provided, of course, that this is what you really want. Vega took the goblet of wine from the fox-eyed shopkeeper's hand. The goblet must once have been adorned with a precious gemstone, but it had since been removed, and now the only clue to its existence was the empty, lonely indentation it had left behind. When Vega regained consciousness, she was stood in front of the fountain. What am I doing here? She wondered to herself. As the moon shone down brightly, she began briskly walking back home. The glow of twilight had all but disappeared now, and if she didn't get back soon, she'd forgotten all about the strange store, from the route that had taken her there to everything that had happened inside. She's gone, the fox-eyed shopkeeper said after the door had shut and the bell had stopped ringing. A young man, one with limpid eyes as bright as moonlight, stepped into view from the back of the store. I guess she got her wish, right? If she forgot about him, she would have forgotten why she was there. Thank you. How many times has she visited now? 6. No, 7. 7 times. The young man hesitated for a moment and then asked, Does the wine really work? It's not that I don't trust you, it's just... The shopkeeper smiled, though the meaning of her smile was ambiguous. This wine causes those who drink it to forget their pain, but your shared history is not a painful thing for her. All this wine can do is to help her temporarily forget her longing for you and the grief of losing you. Whenever she sees the moonlight, she will see you reflected in it, and the memories will start coming back. The time you met at Ludi Harpastum, the afternoon spent beneath the tree at Windrise, the view from Cape Oath, the time you sneaked out of the midsummer celebrations together, hand in hand, the song and the feathered cape you offered to her at the assembly of the traveling bards. All of these are memories she will be reluctant to part with. I do have another bottle of wine in my shop, one that can make someone truly forget everything. If you wish, I could give her that drink instead. She smiled slightly as she watched the young man. After a long silence, he let out a sigh. Tell me, why do you insist on leaving her? Well, it's this. This is the reason. The young man reached into his breast pocket and took out a spherical object made of crystal. Unknown symbols could be discerned faintly flickering inside it. I am led to believe that the people who receive one of these will one day disappear from this world. If that is so, then the earlier I leave, the better. She's still young. If she forgets me now, then she will still have time. Well, 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 sneered the shopkeeper. So, you are one of the chosen. It would appear so, but do you know anything about what happens to the chosen in the end? The young man asked eagerly. I got lost for a moment thinking about this because it sounded for a moment like this could be. It's not a vision. She forced a smile but did not reply. I should be leaving. Now I'm the owner of this thing. I suppose I should go get on with doing the things that are expected of me. And if she returns, what would you have me do? I think we should leave her to handle it on her own. What a heartless man you are. Volume 2, Glaze. Legend tells of a corner of the harbor that has been forgotten by the mountain rocks and the sound of the crashing waves. To reach that place, one must stand in the sea breeze and close their eyes, walk 49 steps away from the clamor of the crowds, then wait till the sound of one's own heartbeat drowns out the voices in the background. Upon opening one's eyes, one will find they have arrived at a little shop. Maybe we'll try all of these things. This is carrying on from Leah, I see. Hello? Anyone in? Yuan called out. He tried the door and let himself in. The bell continued to ring after the door had closed, and as he made his way further inside. The faint sound of crashing waves seeped into the store like a distant memory. Piles of seemingly random artifacts were stacked all the way through from where he stood to the other end of the long and narrow shop. Yuan looked apprehensively at the range of items throughout the store, somewhat intimidated by the thought of his silken robes being covered in dust that was potentially even older than he. Old lanterns made of now yellowing paper, a giant fang from some unknown monster, brilliant black arrow sitter from the depths of space. A dull, gold-colored geometric object built with a mortise and tenon crafted from an unknown material. As he picked up a small bottle filled with a fine white crystalline powder, he heard a soft voice coming from someone who was now stood beside him. That is salt formed from the residue of an ancient archon's tears. The voice caught him off guard, breaking the long silence like a stone disrupts the surface of a pool of still water. Startled, he dropped the bottle he held in his hand. But the sound of smashing glass his ears were anticipating never came. The shopkeeper, who had fox-like eyes with slender lines for pupils, had somehow caught the bottle and returned it to its place on the shelf. Huh? I can't remember who it was, but someone recommended this place to me. She gave a slight nod that acknowledged she had heard him, but was ambiguous as to what she thought about it. Welcome to the store. Do you see anything that takes your fancy? I'm looking for a gift for... She's a girl I like. I've been thinking of proposing to her, and I'd like to have a gift to go with it. Yuan nervously bit his lower lip as he looked up to face the shopkeeper directly. She had mysterious golden eyes that reminded him of Cor Lapis. They looked at each other for a long time in silence. Finally, she spoke. Very well. Her slender figure disappeared back into the depths of the store. When she returned, she held in her hand an object that gave off a faint iridescent glow. On closer inspection, it was revealed to be an exquisitely cut, 10-sided illuminating crystal. I trust you have heard of the legend of the Crystal Heart? He hadn't, but he nodded anyway. It is made from a variety of crystal called illuminating crystal. Man-made versions exist, but they are pale imitations. True illuminating crystal is capable of revealing the secrets of one's heart, for it is formed from the unfulfilled desire and grief of illuminated beasts of the highest order when they reach the end of their life. Please, take a look. He gestured to Yuan that they should both watch the faintly flashing images emerging from within the crystal. Tens of thousands of years flashed before his eyes. Like the continuous shifting of the clouds, stars turned to water and water turned to land. Snow melted and gave way to green pastures. Rivers cut their way through the open country. He watched cities rise like ants' nests and kingdoms topple like toy building blocks. The twilight grew dim. Moonlight zigzagged its way across the uneven surface of the ocean. When Yuan gained consciousness, he found himself walking by the docks. The crystal he held tightly in his hand had become warm, as if blood pulsed through it. This is a wondrous crystal heart indeed, he thought to himself, increasing his pace as he walked on under the moonlight. All I need to do is give this to her. Once that's done, then I must. The bell that hung from the door rang out, crisp and clear. Welcome to the store. Do you see anything that takes your fancy? I'd like to exchange this. Well, I don't know if it counts as a gemstone or. The finely cut crystal sparkled brightly, scattering rays of light throughout the room. It was given to me by a man who's been pursuing me. I'd like to exchange this. Well, I don't know if it counts as a gemstone or. The finely cut crystal sparkled brightly, scattering rays of light throughout the room. It was given to me by a man who's been pursuing me. He said that if we looked into it together, we would see many marvelous things. But somehow I just find it makes me feel uncomfortable. It's a beautiful gem, of course. Each time I think of him, I get so exasperated. So I wondered if this store would be willing to take it off my hands. I understand, but this is a highly prized 10-sided illuminating crystal. For what for what quantity of mora would you be willing to part with it? Actually, I do not want for money. But let me see. What's this? It looks like salt? It's about time I went to Salterra to pay my respects again. If it's okay with you, this is all I need in return for the gem. The fox-eyed shopkeeper sat alone at the back of the shop, turning the geometrically flawless crystal in her hand. In you, I have seen unpleasant things. That fellow's true nature, it is unbelievable. It is upsetting. That said, when it comes down to it, he is but a low-life opportunist who wishes to marry into a wealthy and prestigious family in the salt industry, and will do whatever is necessary to achieve his wish. Had this not come to light, it is entirely possible that they may still have enjoyed a happy life together, despite it not being born out of genuine mutual affection. After all, happiness is but a state of mind. It is not related to love. She took a dainty sip of wine and smiled mockingly at the thought of her own vanity. But the fact is, I simply have zero tolerance for people like that. On the other hand, it is delightfully straightforward opening up to a complete stranger. I know that once he sets foot outside that door, we never have to meet with one another again. So what does it matter if I reveal a little truth to him? Perversely, the closer two people become, the more one seeks to gain, and so you must be on your guard. But how could he have known? I'm sorry that this has been quite the imposition on you, but it is truly wonderful to have this back. She lowered her gaze and continued, This is, after all, your heart that you have left behind. I will be sure to treasure it. But don't you think it's fun, taking a trip down into the world once in a while, seeing what people are like nowadays? Oh, this is very I really like this. I hope we can get volume 3 and volume 4 soon. This reminds me of Pet Shop of Horrors. If anybody has read that manga, the shopkeeper in there also has an attitude kind of like this. And actually, I feel like the tone of voice and kind of suits like the gender ambiguity of that character, like the shopkeeper in that story. But yeah, in that story, some people come in, get a pet, learn a lesson. Similar type of concept. I don't know. Anyway, that's my book recommendation for today. Go read Pet Shop of Horrors. It's a manga, it's gorgeous, and the stories are really interesting. Although you will probably never look at a rabbit the same way again. Today has been another short episode. I'm so sorry. I just really do not have time. But I'm going to make an effort to continue with the Archon quest tomorrow when I should have actually more free time to be filming. All right, bye-bye for now.